Hello everyone, and welcome into another episode of Create Smarter. And I know what you're thinking, that's not Tyler, who is that? That's right, it's me, your host this week, Connor Clarity. And we got a great show for you lined up this week. We have some great, very interesting conversations as well as some fun videos to show you, so let's get right into it. Now, usually on the show, we show you a lot of behind the scenes of the various events and productions we put on. But this week we thought we'd show you a little something different, How do you put on this show itself, Create Smarter? So we thought we'd show you behind the scenes of a Create Smarter a couple weeks ago, where I actually was on the switcher for the first time, so it's pretty cool to see. And it should be kind of special, so let's see that one right now.
Hey Josh, how are you feeling about the show today?
Hi Marissa, feeling pretty good. Kind of a lower stress day for me. I'm usually in the director's seat where Connor is today, so I'll be actually in front of the camera. Looking forward to that. Going to be talking with my pal Peter about a lot of the cool events he produces. I'm also going to get the chance to throw to a video. And once again, I'm usually the one having the video, physically pressing the button that brings up the video. So I'll say, hey, let's roll the video, and it'll be kind of fun, just because I'm usually on the other side of that. So should be a grand old time and happening live.
Good luck!
Thanks!
Hey Connor,
Hey Rissa.
how do you feel about switching your first show today?
I'm excited. I'm pumped. I got the butterflies, just like, before going out on stage in front of a live audience. But this is my audience. You're my audience, the people. So I'm excited. It's going to be a good show. Gone through it a couple times just to practice, and hopefully there's no kinks, but you know what? That's live. You know what I mean? Live entertainment, the best kind. So I'm excited.
Is the Scally Cap good luck?
It's always good luck. It's my good luck cap, so, I wear it today.
Cool. How'd it go?
I think it went very well. Very cool show.
He did awesome!
Tyler's here. Oh my god. No, but everything went well. Switch was scary, but I love it, so that's awesome. And the conversation between Peter and Josh was fantastic. Very funny guy. And yeah, I think the news went well. The videos went well. Everything went well. What a great show. I hope everybody enjoyed it who was watching. Thanks to everybody who did watch. I always appreciate that. And can't wait for the next one. So check that out when you get a chance. All right. What a goofball that Connor is. Anyways, moving on. Recently, our friend Marissa sat down with Noah Hammerman, a graphic designer for the San Francisco 49ers, and Akshay Ram, a designer for Syracuse University Athletics, for a conversation about the recent NCAA rule changes that now allow student athletes to sell the rights to their name, likeness, and image. Let's take a listen.
Hi everyone, it's Marissa from Five School Productions. Today I am joined by my very good friends, Noah Hammerman and Akshay Ram, who I met working at Syracuse University Athletics. I figured I could bring them in to talk about the NCAA rule change on college athletes being able to sell the rights to their name, image, and likeness. But first, I wanted to give you guys a little background about who these cool people are. So Noah just graduated from Syracuse University's Newhouse School of Public Communications this past May 2020, and he's now working as a designer for the San Francisco 49ers. As I mentioned before, he worked with me at Syracuse University in their athletic department, as well as working as a design intern in places like ESPN, Sports Illustrated, and at Indiana University in their athletic department. Akshay is an upcoming senior at Syracuse University and is currently a product manager MBA intern at Adobe, but also does work in social design at Bleacher Report and works in creative media still at Syracuse University in their athletics department. So thank you guys both for joining me today. I think I first wanted to ask you guys what your initial gut reactions were to the NCAA rule changes.
Honestly, I wasn't really surprised. I think this was something that a lot of people were waiting for in the last few years. I think this was an expectation, especially when a lot of these athletes grew up playing games like NCAA football, or they got to play as their favorite college athletes. So once that got stripped away from them, and then them kind of starting to hear rumors about potentially bringing back the game, it was just inevitable that their name, image, likeness would be something that's prominent in the future. So not very surprised. I think this is going to be something that's very interesting to take a look at in the next few years for sure.
Yeah, and it's good for a lot of people. It's not only good for the athletes and the schools. The NCAA was having a little dip there with, especially in college basketball, some of these players going to the developmental league, the G League. So this will really attract players to come to colleges, play sports, and we get to see, March Madness even more, more excitement to it in the coming years. So I think that's the biggest part that I was excited about. And as a creative, as a designer, this opens a world of possibilities in the freelance world that we don't even know what could be coming.
So what kind of impact do you guys think this is going to have on, I know, Noah, you said us as creatives, but also the athletes themselves?
This is a great starting point to grow their own personal brand. I know my mom always tells me, make sure to make your bed and do this and that. That's your personal brand. You're tidy, you're neat, whatever. And I think that's a big thing, is building who you are as a person in college, and who you will be. Not all of these people who are going to make money or make $0 are going to be professional athletes. And if they do become professional athletes, it's great to have those skill sets before you even go into that profession and become a member of the professional league in which you play sports. So I think this is a huge development in not only, it's great for the schools, it's great for you, but it's great for freelancers. Like I said, it's great for the person, because they get to make partnerships with brands that they align with directly, they believe in. So I think this really is a potential for learning for not only brands, but for kids.
Obviously, this allows for a lot more freedom of content creation from the athletes themselves. What are you guys looking forward to seeing from athletes or from helping athletes working on?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it already. Like we're talking content, but we're talking creative content. We've seen at the NFL level already. We got guys like Juju and Chase Claypool that are already taking advantage of platforms like TikTok, coming up with their own original content. I think we really want to see what an athlete can do. And I think a lot of people will be surprised, as fans, when they see their favorite athlete going out and doing something similar to what they do in their day-to-day life, right? Just having fun and being creative. And I think that's what, conversations that I've had and the opportunities I've had to talk to a few athletes in D1 programs, that's kind of what I've been prefacing. It's have fun with it, because the money is cool, but if you find a fun way to do it, you're going to enjoy the process and not feel like it's a job.
Yeah, it's going to open up a world of possibilities with personality driven content. Like we're going to see, your favorite player doing crazy stuff, just fun stuff. I think that's the best part of it. I know in some ideas I was throwing out to some folks, it's like, why not, I think Akshay brought this up when we were texting earlier, like, why not do a chef cook-off show between two guys who just like cooking? It's like, these are all simple answers to brands that you clearly want to be with. And so why not do that? I think that's going to be the most fun part of this, from an outsider looking in, is like, we're going to get to meet people more, not just see a number on the back of a jersey and possibly a name, but really get to have a favorite player because they like, what you like.
What have you guys seen come out of this that has been exciting for you?
I think what I'm really excited about is seeing some of these athletes strip aside the idea that they're making money, but using platforms like Cameo and donating some of their proceeds to their favorite charity or giving it to their friends and family. I think even though they have the opportunity to take advantage of their athlete platform to make some money, I think the deals that are going to be successful for athletes and the athletes that are going to be successful with these companies are going to start from the people that have a story behind why the deal is being done.
The one thing I'm excited for is the possibility of Buddy Boeheim partnering with like Bud Light. I think that's fun. But there's so many play on name stuff that you could come up with and partnerships that you could just see forming that it's kind of just silly at this moment because it's so early, but it's going to become a really fun thing to pay attention to. The social media aspect is really interesting when thinking about what partnerships work with what people, because some traditional brands like Dick's Sporting Goods or something isn't popular on social media. So I think that's a partnership that maybe doesn't have any legs, for lack of a better term, or doesn't have any growth. These companies that are going to partner on social media with players are going to be social forward companies, possibly. Like, you know, you think of House of Highlights or Bleacher Report or something, like these highlight channels. But I think it's important to recognize that different platforms have different goals, and that might not align with every guy.
How do you guys think that this rule change impacts the world of marketing and branding as a whole?
I think it's gonna. The biggest factor is obviously creating the jobs, right? But I think it's building more concentrated. I know I talked to a ton of these athletes, and when it comes down to building your own brand portfolio and stuff like that, there's going to be a higher emphasis on what is in some of these portfolios. How do you sell yourself? And that might just open up more opportunities to branch out of just a specific marketing job. It might be something more brand marketing, personal focused. You know, I think we're going to see avenues where the whole marketing side branches out and there's more opportunities that way where it's going to help some of these athletes. I mean, now that the college athletes are going to get it, the high school athletes are going to have the opportunity to do it as well, just because it's not going to ruin their eligibility in college. So you're going to see it jump there. So we're going to see, you know, kids from the age of 12 or 11, when they first hit the AAU circuits and all that stuff, start branding themselves.
I think it's just a given that it'll be like an extra addendum to, let's say you're a sports marketing agency. That's going to be an extra addendum that's added that says, okay, here's a whole section of this company that now is sports. I think that's the huge thing, is there's way more opportunities, way more players in general. These conferences have like thousands of players playing the same sport. So yeah, I think that's the job thing is kind of a given in my mind. I think it'll just become a thing, and if it hasn't already, you have to be quick with it, because it'll go like that.
I want to thank both of you for taking time out of your busy days to come and have this conversation with me today. Everyone, be sure to check out Noah and Akshay's work on Twitter or any of their social media. Noah's Twitter handle is @NewAgeOfSports, and Akshay's is @ByAkshayRam. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will talk to you both soon.
Thanks, Marissa. And now on to the part of the show where we talk about what's happening in the industry. That's right, everybody's favorite Create Smarter news. This week, our pals Josh and Phil sat down to talk about the newest form of content hitting the scene. That's right, short-form audio. Take it away, gentlemen.
Hi there, and welcome to this week's installment of Create Smarter News. I am Josh, and this week I'm joined in a slightly different format by our friend Phil.
What's up, Josh?
Nothing much, just have this board I want to show off. It's the news. It's time to talk about what's going on.
I love the chalkboard trend in the office. It's good stuff.
Connor and Marissa know what they're doing with a piece of chalk.
To say, if you ever need that done, just don't ask me, because my handwriting is BAD bad. So.
I'm with you.
Okay.
We're the two guys in the office with bad handwriting, and we're here to talk about social audio apps.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. So, social audio, there was this awesome article in The Verge last week that went all into the kind of this new trend we're seeing with social media. A bunch of new startups. They're all basically trying to be the TikTok of Clubhouse. But it's interesting because a lot of these apps, at least from my perspective, they're sort of seeing, hey, people really love audio-only apps from Clubhouse. People love viral videos on TikTok. Let's combine that and make a bunch of apps that are all geared towards short form. Some are long-term, some are about career advice. Bunch of different apps, all trying to just be viral audio that we share as easily as we share a TikTok. Phil, instant reaction, how does that sound?
It sounds like a lot of things when they first come out, like I don't understand how I would use it or like what the exact use case would be. Like Connor in the office brought up the point of like, okay, well, what are you seeing on the screen? First of all, maybe that doesn't matter, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. My first reaction is the way that most people use their phones is by scrolling, like visually actively scrolling. So my first reaction is like, it's kind of bucking that trend a little. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but that seems like that's going to be a difficult thing to overcome because people are glued to their phones visually, and if that element is removed, then I don't know what they're going to do. I also think there's an interesting component to this of the audio market overall. Like the podcast market obviously is, booming, is super popular. There's tons of opportunities for people there, but it's also super oversaturated. So when you think about something like a short form app, it's like, who's going to make use of this? Who's this going to be for? Who are going to be like the influencers of a short form app? And like, what does that look like? Will it be big brands who have the resources to dive into a new platform? Or will there be people who kind of shine and show like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Like when you think about Vine at its height or TikTok now, there's people who take the medium and do more in 6 seconds and do something funnier in 6 seconds or 15 seconds than you maybe thought was even possible. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of creative people who look at this opportunity to say, here's a new platform that's not super oversaturated. Can I make a name for myself here? But it is challenging, I think, because it's this really specific medium.
What's really kind of, I think, interesting with all these apps, like I mentioned, they're each taking a slightly different approach. The article mentioned there's an app called Beam, Pluto, Racket's the one that I tried out. There's some that are short form. I believe they restrict you to 90 seconds, which
is not that short, by the way.
That's true. And once again, it's like, well, if I have a podcast, if we record our 5-tool Create Smarter news that we then turn into a podcast that we then post visualizer clips on Instagram and Facebook, do we then also go in and clip out the best 90-second segments for that?
Well, that's what I was going to say. That what the process you just described is already like a fairly mature content marketing process, right? And I think there's a lot of organizations that aren't even at that point where you're taking, say you do one thing really well, you produce a podcast and you get it out there. Now there's some organizations, one of my favorites, John Boy Media comes to mind, a sports media organization. They post content everywhere, they repurpose, they clip, they chop. But your average organization is like, oh, we're going to make a video and we're going to get it up on Facebook, and if we can get through layers of bureaucracy to get that done, that's a win. It'll be really interesting to see like how many organizations actually have the bandwidth to add another channel into their repurposing mechanism, if they even already have a repurposing mechanism in place to begin with. We asked the question, how are these people going to make money? Well, that specifically, like, they're probably saying like, well, let's build this up a little and show our value, and hopefully LinkedIn buys us, right? Or Twitter buys us, or someone who wants to go more all in on career advice, but wants to integrate this platform without having to build it, buys us. I mean, look at Vine, like Periscope, like this happens where these things get like popular enough and like the technology is there and they're buying the tech to integrate it in. And then it makes a little more sense, right? Like you're already on Facebook. Oh, I'm interested, I don't want to watch anything. I just want to let audio roll in the background. Great, that makes a little more sense. But standalone, maybe not as much. So that could probably be a part of the long play for some of these.
The last point I really want to just kind of harp on for a second is kind of the question of platform. Because unlike podcasts, a lot of these social audio apps are all locking down their content to the app.
I definitely think that everything is, sadly going to be a lot more locked down. The glorious age of just stuff being free and available anywhere. You see it with exclusive deals for like the Rogan podcast and stuff like that. And it's probably going to become the norm, sadly, more than it's not. And everyone wants to own it, right? Every big platform wants to own what's on there. So I wouldn't be shocked.
Man, the golden age of the internet.
It's over.
Making big headlines here on Create Smarter News this Monday. Phil, thanks so much for talking social media audio with me. And this has been Create Smarter News. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to Connor for pushing the buttons in that room over there. And we'll be back next week with more news, more Create Smarter. And yeah, thanks so much for watching.
Bye.
Thanks, guys, for that great conversation. But that about does it for us this week. But before we go, we just wanted to send you off with one more video. Recently, we had our first in-person hybrid event of 2021. Down in Boston, we worked with EverTrue for their Raise 2021 event. It was a great stream, and our friend Josh documented the whole thing. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll leave you with Josh. Take it away.
What's up, guys? This is Josh from 5 Tool Productions, coming to you from sunny Brighton, Massachusetts, and this is my A Day in the Life. Alright, so coming clean, a bit of movie magic. I don't actually start my days on the porch behind here. Usually I start them in here, in our little office. Got a window and like 12 monitors over there. What's up, Monty?
Yo.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Here's my commute in real time. Just kidding, I'm gonna get in this car and drive to work. And away we go! Today, my friends, is a very special day. We are doing our first hybrid stream of the year for our good friends over at EverTrue. So it's set up today over in Seaport, and then the stream tomorrow. Gonna drive on over to Seaport and see where I can park. We love traffic. It's the city with the worst traffic in the country. People would tell you LA, but they're wrong. Seaport, baby. Beep
Please
boop.
wait.
Please wait.
Take the ticket.
You got it. Hey, again, it's Josh in the parking garage. Like I said, this is our first hybrid stream of the year. For me, this is my first ever hybrid stream. It's my first on-location stream. So I'm pretty excited to get going. So I just walked past the EverTrue offices over there, but a slight detour. I'm here at the happiest place on earth, the Hood Milk Bottle. I found my friend!
There he is.
Sending emails?
Every time.
And the EverTrue office, getting set up with Connor and Tyler and Phil. We're gonna have so much fun today.
Hey, 5 Toolies, that's what you're called now. Pretty good first day. Got kind of carried away with all the setup and testing and all that. It went awesome. Wasn't vlogging all the time, so probably some gaps in our days. I think we're gonna do not a day in the life for this one, but a event in the life. So I'll be back here in Seaport tomorrow. Raise 2021. Booyah, baby. Pretty uneventful night yesterday. I say that, though that's an absolute lie, at the suggestion of Tyler and Phil. We all watched 1994's Airheads, starring Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, and Adam Sandler. There was a lot going on there. There was a lot we liked. There was some that left us scratching our heads, and Michael Richards had a gun. Yeah, it's gonna be another day in the life, and I will catch you over in Seaport. And I'm here live from the set of Raise 2021. No, I didn't film too much setup yesterday, so just kind of wanted to show off what we got. Our hosts, Christina and Mike, will be sitting here and there. Yesterday we set up all these lights, these cameras. This is sort of a multi-view for our hosts, program and preview, so they'll know when they're live and when they're not.
Customized a couple buttons yesterday on the Stream Deck. It's pretty fun. We can kind of customize the exact layout we need on a per show basis. Just putting the finishing touches on that project, but yeah. Couple hours till the show, and hanging out with Phil. New friends just showed up. Hey Tyler, hey Connor. Thanks for hanging out.
And once again, yes, Tyler is answering emails.
That was my day/event in the life. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. We're working from home now. All right.
We're working from home now.